Hi there, I'm Marina of Lead Yourself to Happiness, all about your mental and emotional well-being. So today I've got a great video for you. Are some of your relationships getting strained in lockdown? Well, here are some great things that just might help. So we might be in lockdown at the moment, but most of us are not completely alone. So are you in a situation where you're living with someone or your family, or working closely with colleagues? In situations like these, when we're cooped up, pressure can build up, especially at the moment, because the lockdown is acting a bit like a pressure cooker, pushing us together more than usual. So it's really easy for things to get a bit heated. So in this video, I've got some terrific tips for you, which you can start putting into practice straight away. Using them will transform your relationships, communication skills, and ability to get on with people. They will really help you overcome conflicts or difficult times, which are often the make or break time of any relationship, whether it's a close personal relationship with a family member, a friendship, acquaintance, or a business relationship. It'll also help you get through any stressful situation where you find yourself getting upset, angry, or stressed. So, who am I? I've spent more than 16 years coaching and mentoring people, and for 6 years I've specialised in overcoming anxiety and stress and building emotional intelligence. And I'm partnering with my colleague Dr. Soraya Zabin, founder of Neurobalance Academy, to bring you this video. So without further ado, let's go straight into this class on building fantastic communication and relationships using emotional intelligence. So let me start by telling you or introducing you to Daniel Sickles and the scandal of the 19th century. Dan Sickles was a prominent lawyer, politician, and diplomat in Washington. He was very well known in society and even a confidant of the president at the time, James Buchanan. He was also a compulsive womanizer. When he was a young man, he seduced a married woman and blackmailed her husband. Then, just a few years later, he seduced her 15-year-old daughter, who was called Teresa, and married her, but only when she was already visibly pregnant. A real scandal in those days. Now that was scandalous enough, but it was only the start. Once married, he spent more time with prostitutes than with his own wife, even though he was by now a rising star in the Democratic Party and quite high profile. Lonely and fed up, Teresa was driven into the arms of the dashing Philip Barton Key, a Washington district attorney. Sickles didn't know about the affair for a long time until one day, in February 1859, he received an anonymous letter telling him about it. Furious, he confronted his wife, and then the next morning he was discussing with his friends what to do about it when he spotted Philip Key outside, signalling to Teresa from the street. Enraged, Sickles rushed outside and shot at Key, but just grazed him. Key managed to knock the gun out of his hand, but then Sickles pulled another gun and shot Key to the ground this time. Then he shot him again in the chest, and that was the fatal wound. He tried to shoot him point blank in the head, another shot, but the gun didn't fire this time. However, Key was already dying anyway. What made the whole thing even more audacious was it happened in broad daylight in Lafayette Square in Washington, just a stone's throw from the White House. This led to what many have called the trial of the century. Of course, Sickles has access to top lawyers, and for better or worse, they managed to get him acquitted. But what was fascinating about this case was that it was the first use of the plea temporary insanity. This has since become a very popular defence for crimes of passion, or as they say in French, crime passionnel. So that's what this video is about, the heat of the moment. Because temporary insanity is a very good description of what happens to us. And it's not just the odd person like Dan Sickles. I imagine every single person ever born has experienced it regularly throughout their life. So how do we get so overpowered by emotion that we lose control over ourselves? And by the way, many emotions do this to us, not just anger, but laughter, joy, anxiety, fear, depression, and many others. Well, our brain is actually 3 brains in one. So the animal brain or emotional brain, the bit that developed before our thinking brain and after our reptilian brain. So this part of the brain is the part that keeps us alive. It's responsible for our survival. So it makes us feel hungry when we need food, makes us feel tired when we need rest. And because survival is more important than anything else, our animal brain can easily take over the whole brain when it needs to, and basically shut down the other 2 brains. That's why when you're hungry, you just can't concentrate on anything except food, can you? You kind of get images of delicious plates of food in front of your eyes, and you just can't keep your mind on anything else. Now, emotions also are located in the same animal or emotional brain, because they also are necessary for survival. Thus, strong emotions like furious anger or panic can overcome the thinking brain, the neocortex. And that's how crimes of passion occur, in the heat of the moment when your rational brain simply shuts down and we revert to instinctive behaviour, fight or flight. Because we are animals at the end of the day. Threats nowadays tend to come in different ways, but we still react as if they're threats to our survival. Thus, a parking ticket or a debt letter, though posing no physical threat, can still make your heart race and fill your body with adrenaline and cortisol, which are hormones designed to help us fight or run away from a physical danger. It's all completely automatic and instinctive. Also, in an argument or when we're being shouted at or attacked, even verbally, we have the same reaction. It's all about survival. So what we experience when someone is shouting at us is a feeling of actual danger, like physical danger. So we react by going into the fight or flight mode. The body fills with adrenaline, and all we can do is fight or run away, i.e. shout back or retreat into stony silence. Both of these are devastating to the health of a relationship. Because we can't think straight, we end up misunderstanding what the other person says, making assumptions, or saying stuff we don't mean, or worse, saying something terribly cruel or hurtful in the heat of the moment, maybe even something that the other person will never forget. Now, it's fair to say that the health of any relationship, whether family or friends or work colleagues, depends on how you overcome complaints, grievances, arguments or disagreements. Would you agree? After all, it's easy enough for a relationship to flourish when everyone's happy, but how it overcomes the difficult times, and every relationship has its share of difficult times, is the real test. Therefore, those times are the make or break points of any relationship. In fact, it's so crucial that John Gottman, an American researcher studying married couples, was able to tell from observing them disagreeing or discussing things with a staggering 94% accuracy whether a couple was going to stay together or split up in the next 3 years. So how you speak and act in these difficult times is crucial to the health and longevity of any relationship, whether it's personal, work, family or friend. So firstly, number 1, don't criticize. Criticism is in fact a form of verbal attack and hence gives rise to the same fight or flight response as a physical attack. That means the attacked person can't think straight. They're likely to lash out, i.e. fight, or retreat into stony silence, which is flight. Neither response is going to resolve the situation and is most likely to damage the relationship. Instead, say what you're unhappy about, but please do it without criticizing or undermining the other person. People talk about constructive criticism, but it's actually very rare because that has to be learnt. Nearly all criticism, in fact, ends up being destructive. and is perceived as an attack to the other person, and then damages the overall health of the relationship. Number 2, now communication isn't just what we say. In fact, most of the meaning of any communication comes from our tone of voice and our body language, 93%. So they, in an argument or discussion, very much set the overall tone. When we're aroused, we instinctively become aggressive. We speak fast, we have an aggressive tone of voice, and we tend to shout. Some people point their finger or come up very close as well. So this one is simple. Slow down your speech and lower your tone. Consciously, you'll have to do it consciously. Speak quietly instead of shouting. Make sure as well that you're not too close to the other person or people, or leaning forwards or making any aggressive gestures. This will immediately cool the atmosphere down slightly and gradually calm the other person down and yourself, and it'll make it much more likely you'll both be able to reach a satisfactory resolution. Number 3, take a break. So basically, don't engage when you're aroused, excited, upset, or in a state of any kind. Because at that time, almost anything that either of you say will make the other more angry or upset. Almost anything will seem like an attack. And anything you say will come out badly anyway, because remember, your body is coursing with adrenaline, so you're extra aggressive and you're not thinking straight. No one can resolve anything when we're in this state. So just take a few minutes to calm down. Tell the other person you want to cool down and when you will return. And then use that time to breathe deeply or go for a walk if you can. If you can go somewhere green and natural, even better, a park or a garden. Remind yourself while you're walking of the outcome that you want. In the heat of the moment, we often forget that there's something that we want and something that the other wants. So focus on a solution rather than getting one over on the other person or just arguing or having a slanging match. Then finally, when you feel calm, return and try to reach a satisfactory resolution for both of you. And if things get heated again, just repeat. So, how this will help? Well, it'll prevent minor disagreements from escalating into major ones. And these things, just putting these things in place will get you through most conflicts and restore peace and harmony much, much quicker. Remember, these are the most important moments. They're the make or break points of any relationship. And they can be the ones that will either strengthen or weaken the relationship. And really, which they are is up to you. And finally, we're not a prisoner of our biology or our instinctive reactions. In other words, like I've said before, the emotions or the animal brain is a great servant but a terrible master. It's powerful, but like any animal, it can be tamed. And building your emotional intelligence allows you to tame it. So, I hope you found these things useful. If you did, please give this video a thumbs up or a like. And subscribe for more relevant content on how to get the best out of yourself, overcome challenges, and excel in every area of life by building your emotional intelligence. And also, who can you think of who might also benefit from seeing this? Please share it with them. It might make someone's day. And we've got some really great things in store for you, so please stay tuned. I can't wait to see you again. Thanks so much for watching and have a great rest of the day. Bye.